Hey everyone! So today I'm going to be talking about 10 things that are holding you back in your own art. As I've said before, I'm an artist who took a really long break from drawing and recently just got back into it, and I've sort of started fresh. So I've been affected by pretty much all of these things, which is why I'll be drawing on some of my own experiences as well. So let's just get right into it. Number 1 is waiting for inspiration. When I first started drawing, I feel like I would always use this excuse. My mom would ask me, "Oh, you haven't drawn in a long time, like what's up with that?" And I would just say, "Oh, I'm just not inspired yet." Listen, inspiration is really rare. And not just that, but usually it doesn't come until you've started working, or a lot of the time. Sometimes you just have to sit down with your sketchbook, start drawing, and then from there you'll get ideas and inspiration will come. It's really hard to just be going about your day normally and then to all of a sudden have both the inspiration and the motivation to start drawing. You really have to put aside time to draw and just draw, and then you might be inspired, or you might not. Either way, waiting to be inspired is just holding you back from actually starting working, and you're never going to improve if you don't start. Number 2 is something that I'm sure every artist does, no matter your skill level or how long you've been doing art, and that is comparing yourself to other artists. I'm not going to sit here and tell you not to do it, because honestly, especially if you're posting your art on social media, it is inevitable you're going to do it, but there's definitely a right and a wrong way. Obviously, some of the more popular artists on Instagram and other social media are professionals. It is their job and they have been doing it for a really long time. When I first started doing art, I didn't even understand this. I would compare my art, which I had been doing maybe for 4 months, to people that had been drawing for 15, 20, 40 years. You really just it's incomparable, honestly. With a lot of hard work, you can definitely improve and get as close as you can to that level in as short a possible time as you can. That is definitely possible, but it is very unlikely to get up to that skill level without the experience and the time put into actually doing art. But I did say comparing yourself to other artists or your artwork to other artists' artwork is normal, and I still do it, but I've shifted my focus to something that will actually help me improve rather than just saying, "Oh, my art sucks" compared to this person's art. And that is to say, for example, you're trying to achieve something specific in your artwork and you see another artist that has been able to do that same thing successfully, whereas you just haven't quite gotten the hang of it yet. Compare your work to theirs and see maybe where you went wrong, where you need to improve, and focus on improving that. That's a really healthy and also constructive way of improving your own art. So yeah, there is a right and a wrong way to compare your work. Number 3 is setting the wrong goals. And by wrong, I mean goals that are out of your control. For example, setting goals like, this week I want to sell X amount of prints, or I want to get this many likes on this post. All of these examples are things that are pretty much out of your control unless you're just not working. Instead, you should be making goals to actually improve your work, and then those other 3 things can happen with time as you continue to improve. Or just in general, things that you can do. So for example, this month I'm doing MerMay, and my goal every day is just to do 1, and now because I'm behind, 2 drawings in 1 day. That is my goal. And that's something that definitely is achievable and is completely in my control. Number 4 is focusing too much on likes and or trends. So obviously you should know, and hopefully you do know, that the number of likes you get on a post does not show how successful your artwork was. That's not how it works. So what I really mean when I say this is drawing certain things specifically for likes or to follow trends. Now, there's nothing wrong with following trends, obviously. What's wrong is when you don't even like the subject that you're drawing. For example, one trend that's going on right now as I'm recording this is the Sailor Moon redraw. I haven't done it yet, but I want to because 1, it is trending right now, and 2, because I actually like Sailor Moon. It is one of the first anime I ever saw and completed the whole thing, and she's one of my favorite characters, so I would have enjoyed drawing her anyways. However, if you're someone, say, who doesn't even like drawing characters, you don't even know who Sailor Moon is, you do landscapes, like that is what you have fun doing, but then you shift and start doing this, or you do this trend just because you think it'll get you more likes than the post you're doing right now. And maybe it will, it probably will because it is a trend, but if you keep changing your art and what you draw just to try to please people on Instagram, you're not going to be happy drawing, and that is going to cause you to stop drawing. So an example of this for me is back when I first started in my DeviantArt days, I really liked fairy tale, and so a lot of my really popular posts were fairy tale. Now, this is a subject that I enjoyed drawing. I like drawing those characters, but I also wanted to branch out, draw my own original characters, but I continued to notice that because I had done so much fairy tale art, and those were the ones that were really popular, that my own original work and even other fan art that I did just wasn't doing as well. And so that made me want to draw only fairy tale. So I literally became pretty much a fairy tale account. And I was so focused on just getting likes that instead of drawing what I wanted, I just continued to do that. And eventually I wasn't having fun doing it anymore, so I stopped. So yeah, definitely just draw what you want to draw. Number 5 is something that I've seen recently in the art community, especially with beginners, and that is a huge focus on your art style. So first of all, I have to say everyone does have an art style. It's pretty much the little things, like all the commonalities throughout your work that you consistently do, but the focus is on having a distinctive style that is recognizable by other people easily. And when you feel like you don't have that, it can be discouraging. So for this one, all I really have to say is just know that your art style is formed and shaped as you continue to improve and continue to grow. Again, most artists with really recognizable art styles have been drawing for a really long time, and it wasn't always like that. And not just that, but they have a really, really big following a lot of the time, and so people can recognize their art anyways because of that. So this is something you just have to keep in mind. It's going to take time. Just continue to improve, and eventually you'll get there. Number 6 is an easy one, and that is just avoiding drawing certain things. This is especially common in beginners. So for example, putting hands behind your back, behind a character's back, because they're too hard to draw, drawing only winking characters or characters with hair covering an eye because you can't get the eyes to match. Basically just not drawing certain things because you think that they're too difficult. Obviously, you're not going to improve if you don't do it. Sometimes it's hard because maybe your hands aren't going to look as perfect as artists who have been doing it for longer, but you just have to do it and improve. My hands don't look that great, but I never avoid drawing them. Almost all of my drawings have both hands. I practice different poses, and I can see myself slowly improving. So just keep that in mind. Number 7. Now, I'm not sure if this has ever affected anyone else, but this has definitely affected me, and that is waiting to put down your ideas or to use an idea. So what I mean by this is sometimes I'll come up with a concept And in my mind, like, I'll think that it's a really cool concept, it's really unique, and it's something that I am really excited about. But then I tell myself, wait, I'm not good enough yet to do this. I want to wait until I improve, and then I'll do this idea because it's really good. So if that happens to you, my advice is don't wait. Ideas will always come. You're always going to be getting more. I have way too many things that I want to draw, so don't worry about wasting your ideas, I guess. And not only that, but once you do improve, it's not like you can't draw that same thing again. In fact, that's a trend that's been going on for a while now, is redrawing your old art. So if you're inspired to draw something, don't waste that inspiration, just do it. Number 8 is not knowing when to put your pen, your paintbrush, or whatever you're using down. Again, this is one that is especially important for beginners, and I say that because when you are doing a piece, the bulk of the entire piece is actually completed in a very short amount of time. A lot of the time that you spend in an illustration is pretty much just rendering, slowly making it look better. Of course, you can still do that, but there comes a point that you just need to know when to stop. One, because your art isn't even changing that much at a certain point. It's not really going to improve that much if you keep going. And 2, all of that stuff at the end isn't giving you much value in terms of improving your own skills. The main value you actually get is drafting. So of course, if you're doing, if you're making prints or doing commissions or something, I understand spending more time to make things look perfect. But if it's just a normal drawing that you're doing, know when to stop. This is also why you should keep a sketchbook and try to focus on doing a lot of sketches and a lot of things in there instead of doing more finished projects. That's something that I definitely still struggle with even now, that I want to get better at. Number 9 is focusing on the end result. I've talked about this before in previous videos, but basically, as an artist, you should be enjoying the process. It's really easy to get caught up on just the end result, especially if you're using platforms like Instagram where you only see people's end results, pretty much. But the majority of the time you spend as an artist, hopefully, isn't on Instagram. It's on the process and it's on creating. So if you don't enjoy that and you're only focused on what it looks like in the end, you're going to really easily get burnt out, and you're not going to be motivated to do art anymore, and you're just going to stop. So if you want to continue doing art, focus on that process and just have fun with it instead of the ending. And finally, number 10, the final thing that is holding you back in your art is fear. This is a really hard one to overcome, to be honest, and the fear can be a lot of different things, but it's usually, what if people don't like my art? What if I don't like it? What if the end result is ugly? What if I'm not good enough? Something along those lines. My advice is just identify why it is you're afraid to do your work and come up with reasons to tell yourself why that fear is irrational. So I was always, and sometimes still do, get scared that my art isn't good enough, I'm not talented enough, but recently I haven't been, and that's just because I have realized that honestly, nobody cares more than I do. I am definitely my biggest critic, and of course I see all the things that I need to improve on, but I try to use those thoughts to just work more, work harder, and improve so that later it'll slowly get better. So if you're scared your work isn't good enough, really, it's like, good enough for whom? Because if you've overcome the other things, if you're not focusing on likes or what other people think, then it's really just yourself. And if it's yourself, then again, it's just about sort of shifting your focus. And also knowing that there's always room for improvement. Even probably the best artist in the world still wants to improve. You're always going to want to get better. And so yeah, those are my 10 things that are probably holding your art back, and some ways that you can combat or overcome those. I hope you were able to get some sort of value from my tips, or at least enjoyed the video, and if you did, definitely give this video a like and also subscribe if you want to see more content from me. Anyways, have a good day, and hopefully I'll see you later. Bye!